The name's Burn. Bodacious Burn.
And you're listening to Rye, the ranting Rye. And welcome to the Bodacious Rant. Hello, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
That was pretty good. we got it. We got it. That was pretty
Nailed
cool.
it. First try.
And if you guys got like why we were speaking backwards, you can think. I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, "Why are you guys talking like Yoda?" It's like, if you say Yoda, you need to leave.
You're uncultured swine.
But we are talking about a non-spoiler review of Daniel Craig's latest film, No Time to Die, which is the last James Bond in his sequence of James Bond films. And he's easily had the record of, not the most films, I don't think, but the longest running.
The longest tenure, for sure. Not the most films, like you said.
Exactly, because for those of you who don't know or don't remember, there have been 4 films preceding No Time to Die, and they were Casino Royale in 2006, starring him, Ava Green, Mads Mikkelsen, and then the second one was Quantum of Solace with, I forgot this one French actor, I don't remember his name, but he was in a couple movies, and Olga Kurylenko, who was in Black Widow as Taskmaster, if those of you guys haven't seen. If not, spoiler for that one. Third movie was Skyfall that came out in 2012, and that was with Javier Bardem, Naomi Harris, Ralph Fiennes, and so it was a pretty stacked cast as well. Not necessarily a notable Bond woman in that one. I think that was like the first movie where
M was the Bond woman in that one, Judi
pretty
Dench.
much, yeah, exactly. And the most recent one was Spectre, which I believe was
2015.
It was 2015. Okay, I was thinking 2016. Wow, that was actually pretty close for them to do that movie because it was like years before. But anyways, and that one had the likes of Dave Bautista, Christoph Waltz, and
Léa Seydoux.
Léa Seydoux. Okay, cool. I was a little worried about how to say her name correctly because she's also, I believe, French, I think, too. So, and that was that would be the one most preceding. But in my opinion, if you guys don't feel like watching all 4 movies, it's the only one you really don't have to watch, in my opinion, is Quantum of Solace. Right. You're more than welcome to watch all 4. It'd be pretty cool because you're seeing all of Daniel Craig and his action and his glory as James Bond, but that's the one it really doesn't contribute much to it. So that's just us. I'm sure people are saying you don't need to watch Skyfall, you don't have to watch Spectre, but I think Spectre and Casino Royale are at least the 2 you should see, just because it makes the most sense for this movie. So anyways, and we saw this in IMAX, which again, IMAX is killing it this year. Usually I would go to Dolby, but it's like everything's being in IMAX now, so it's like Dolby may have to convert into IMAX or just, I don't know, be bigger for me to want to watch it again. But anyway, needless to say, this was a fantastic way to end Daniel Craig's tenure as James Bond. I was a little worried about it because I'm like, oh man, Spectre was a little miss. Like, is this going to be good? And I was wowed by it, the whole time. It was such a thrill ride. A couple slow moments here and there, but even then, it picks right back up with the action and the story. And the acting. Like, we had new additions of Rami Malek in it and
Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas. She was awesome. My God, she was easily one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. And not just because she's drop dead gorgeous.
But it's a great scene,
She is just a great scene. Ana de Armas, after this one, I would be very surprised if she does not get more roles for action movies. That's all I'm going to say until we do our spoiler review to really dive into some of these scenes.
Lashana Lynch as well.
And Lashana Lynch, I can't believe I forgot her. Yes, she plays a new character. Again, I'm not going to spoil it unless you people have been spoiled already. But, again, what another fantastic actor to really pick up the slack with Daniel Craig. Like, not pick up the slack, but really just add her own, just like presence of just, damn. She's also just as intense as James Bond. Like, it was quite breathtaking to see them on the screen. So I really enjoyed her addition to it. And just we saw returning characters, Naomi Harris, Ralph Fiennes. I forgot the actors who plays
Ben Whishaw.
That's his Ben Whishaw. I like him too. I haven't seen him in a whole lot though outside of this, but it was just another one. I would rate this one at a 4 out of 5. This is easily one of the best movies of the year. One of the biggest spectacles to see. And if you just want a good like spy thriller and maybe because in the end I guess you don't have to see the other James Bond movies to want to watch this, but it would just make sense if you did. So that's all I gotta say for that.
Wow, and I'm really happy to hear you say that because in conversations we've had over the last year, basically, this was one of the first movies to get delayed due to the pandemic. Like we were right there. April 2nd, I believe, is when it was supposed to come out last year, and then again that was one of the first ones that got pushed. So it was one of those that almost like every month it'd be like, oh, here's another delay, here's another delay, here's another, and at some point I remember you and I were just kind of like, they should just like release this already. We just kind of got a little bit fatigued on the whole like waiting for it aspect. And I know at some point you were
the hype died down. For sure.
I was gonna say like at some point like the hype died down for both of us, and the marketing campaigns were just kind of like starting and stopping, and so yeah, it just felt like this movie was a little bit of curse. I remember a lot of people calling it no time to release because it was like, this movie's never coming out, and I think people were just kind of fed up with that. And I was getting to that point as well, and it got to the point where I was just like, I don't know if I'm really looking forward to this movie anymore. And just like you, I'm so glad I was wrong, and I'm very happy that this movie was as amazing as it is. I absolutely loved this movie. Like as you said, it is such a perfect encapsulation of the entire Craig Bond era. It feels almost like a little bit of a greatest hits, in this movie, where there's a lot of I think there's a lot of the best of the Craig things, like in particular the direction, the action, the sound design, and the score. I mean, and the acting as well. Like you said, like every performer comes in and just gives it their all. Like everybody knew like this was the last one, and they were like, we're just gonna give it everything. So it was just like, oh my gosh, it was such a treat to watch, and what a great movie to be able to watch, like you said, in IMAX, because it's like, I know we wanted it to be released, like, just throw it out on VOD and we'll watch it at home, but the fact that it saved it and now we got to see it in the theater as it was meant to be seen, man, like I wouldn't have given that experience up. Like it was just so good.
It was, yeah, I think you put it perfectly. I'm glad I was wrong, because I was tired of waiting. I'm like, I don't care for this movie anymore. Is it even gonna release? So that's part of why I guess I'm so surprised too, because I thought it's gonna have some cool scenes, but it's probably gonna be a dud like the last one. Not to say I gotta rewatch Spectre, because maybe I'll rewatch it and I'll be like, oh my god, it was way better than I thought. But I remember when we went to go see it, I was like,
it just kind of felt like whatever.
It wasn't that great. So it was, if anything, like Spectre and Quantum of Solace are almost like filler movies.
Yeah.
Where it's like they fill in parts of the story, but they're not truly on their own, I guess. So either way, like I said, hard 4 out of 5 for me. What about you, Vern?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 4 out of 5 as well. I think, like I said, that there's a lot of the best of here in this movie, but I don't think it's also like the best one. It's hard to say right now because it's just so fresh, and I just hold Casino Royale and Skyfall in such high regard. Like those two are definitely my 2 favorite Bond movies. Just like in total, like they're both 5 out of 5s for me. So this one, maybe I'll need a little bit more time to think on it, but this one is a 4 out of 5 for me as well right now. I do think that the runtime, I didn't want it to end, but at some points you're just kind of like, you can feel like the plot dragging on certain sections, but there was always something interesting going on. And the villain, Rami Malek's Safin, is, I wouldn't say he's the greatest, but he does fall into that cat. I think for Bond villains, there's like 3 categories. There's like the silly, awful ones. Then there's, the ones that have like very thin motivations, but are very like fun in their performance. And then their actor really like brings that character to life. And then there's just like downright really good. And I think he falls in that second category where the motivations aren't always like the best and this kind of surface level, but he brings such a great performance to it. And so that's why I have to ding the movie just a little bit. But again, like this was such a great send off for Craig and the Bond era, and it's like this is the last 15 years. It's kind of like it feels like this is a particular point in time that's just like come to an end, and I feel like this end was so fitting for this interpretation of the character. It was great. I loved it.
That's high praise. So yeah, but yeah, there were definitely a couple scenes. Like, I really think it was just the runtime that only a couple points in the movie, which I'll talk about in our spoilers, I felt like dragging on. I was kind of nodding off a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but the rest of the movie, again, my eyes were stuck to it. I was fascinated by it. it was such a great movie. Definitely not only a great popcorn flick, but well acted, good dramatic spy thriller. So I'm glad that we finally got to see this, and it wasn't delayed again, thank God. If it was going to be delayed till November again, I would have been like, fuck that. I give up, dude.
Just, they know what, okay, fine, I'm done.
But, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to our spoiler review, especially if you've seen it. If you haven't, please go out and see this ASAP, especially in IMAX, because you just get the full viewing experience. Like, I know it's a little bit more than a regular ticket, and tickets are already so expensive, but IMAX and Dolby at least are definitely worth the experience. They definitely add a little bit more to it than just a regular theater.
Yeah,
so.
and just the James Bond genre in general really lends itself well to have like the biggest movie theater experience you could possibly get. And like you said, this movie takes full advantage of that. Like the director Cary Fukunaga, who did who came into fame from the True Detective first season. He really really gets you engaged in this movie, and especially in the action sequences, full blown in the IMAX ratio. You gotta see it in that aspect. I mean, we wouldn't be recommending it if it weren't that great. But man, I think you and I are on the same page that that's the way it's got to be seen.
Absolutely. So tune in to that. We got a couple movies coming out soon as well. This week is Halloween Kills, so I'm so excited for that one. Been waiting for that one the last couple years. And Dune by Denis Villeneuve coming out next week. So it's a stacked month this month leading into November. November and December better pick it up with the slack with the film.
Yeah.
So
October's got
next
it.
time,
October's got it right now.
It really does. Until next time, stay bodacious, keep on ranting, stay safe, and Burn, I'll see you later.
All right, everybody. Again, like Rye said, be good, be safe, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
Peace out.
Adios, man.